Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
On occasion, Mr. and Mrs. Rollo Harrison will send me some information. And a lot of it is really kind of interesting, and there's some great quotes in there. And here's one this morning that absolutely should be taken to heart by the Democrats. It's advice to Democrats, liberals, and all lefties. When your horse dies, it's time to dismount. I love that. Good morning. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Call in. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Old Wheels is over at the main studio. I'm Zeb Bell, right here at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, hey, I got a bone to pick with you. You didn't call in yesterday, and we were concerned. Now, give me the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When traffic goes by, they almost sound like they're coming in your front door.
I know I got my windows open and the fans on to bring some cool air in.
I don't blame you. Hey, call me back later, buddy. Thanks for the pledge. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness sakes, we got to go right now to the weather, and the weather's brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Number to call, number 2, remember, 678-3122. Hello, crew over at K&R Rental. They've got all your equipment, such as forklifts all the way to lawnmowers, and they will deliver and pick up power tools and heavy equipment at your site. Hey, they've been in business since 1979, and along with all the tools and equipment, they've got all the experience, too. So give them a call. Stop in. K&R Rental in Heyburn, 678-3122. And right now, here's the weather.
We are getting one day closer to the weekend, and we are in a heat advisory according to the weather forecast, and we're going to remain in that until Friday evening. Today, as far as weather is concerned, sunny skies. We are still in that high-pressure system. Looking at a high of 97 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 96 with an overnight low of 61. Sunny and 97 for Friday, looking at 100 degrees for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Woo, baby. Everybody jump in the pool. And the weather brought to you this hour by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn. These are really good folks. Open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5:30, Saturday, 7 to 2, and the number to call, 678-3122, K&R Rental. Hey, let's sell some cattle. Merv May, come on in here.
All right, a good set of steer calves there, here to get all 31, 1 and a half, 31, 1 and a half, 30.
That is the chant of, in my opinion, the world's best auction auctioneer right there, Merv May at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Today, they're going to have Miller Dairy of Hazleton. Hello, how are you folks doing over there? They're bringing in 316 head of 400 to 600 pound Holstein and Holstein cross steers, ripping good cattle. And HD Dunn up at Tetonia, bringing in a semi-load of butcher cows. TLK Dairy at Mountain Home, 2 semi-loads of butcher cows. And butcher cows coming in from Acme Dairy, Oak Valley Dairy, and P-Bar S Dairy. Oh, good sales, starting at 10:45 this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-9411. The sale that works for you, Burley Livestock Sale Yard. And right now, Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Kind of a warm day today. And for the next couple of days, please drink a lot of water. And if you get a chance, jump in the pool, a pool of water, whatever, I don't care. Just take care of yourself out there. It's going to be a little bit warm. By the way, too, Ramsey Heating and Electric, and you know that they've got your air conditioning filters. Yeah, buddy, I mean, you better change those if they're all dirty and gunky and messed up and not going to let the air get through. What good are they to you? Throw them away, get some clean filters, and then sit back and enjoy the cool. Absolutely. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Ramsey Heating and Electric. And real quick, and then we're going to start taking calls. I got a whole bunch of things I need to talk to you about today. I want to remind you about Denny's Restaurant. I love this place. I mean, I love the breakfast. Naturally, I guess I'm a little prejudiced on breakfast because that's my favorite meal of the day. I'll eat it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And they've got delicious burgers, brand new lineup of burgers. You're going to love them, I'm telling you. And anytime, all the time, any meal, you stop in Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. And they've got online ordering at Denny. Anytime, anywhere, anything, go to Dennys.com, hit the demand button, place your order, and 20 minutes later, drive in, pick your order up, and then put your grinners into some really delicious food at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley. Yup, it is America's Diner. Okay, calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I ask you questions, and I really do appreciate your answers and your response. So, here we go. If Obama, and it looks like he did, take the if out of that sentence, and it looks like, yes, he did, very definitively, knew of possible Russian attempts, and I'm careful about how I say this, knew of possible Russian attempts at hacking our election in August of last year, and the election took place in November of last year. Why didn't he do something about it? Could it be, let me just throw this out for your listening to and calling me back on your remarks. Could it be that it was a lead pipe cinch that Hillary was going to win the election? So therefore, nothing was done, nothing was said, nothing happened, nothing occurred, nothing was unveiled. Oops. And it sounds to me, and I'm just throwing this out there for you, it sounds to me like the real investigation, the real collusion, the real crime was committed by the Obama administration. I mean, if they knew something was going on or had the potentiality of something going on, Why didn't they do something? And then to turn it around on Trump, ooh, sounds like somebody got their hand caught in the cookie jar. Crooked Barack Obama. What are your thoughts on this revelation that Barack knew August, September, October, before the election? Did nothing. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Oh, come on a Friday, a hot Friday. Give me a call. I want to hear from you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Hello, Nick Greenwell. Hello, staff. They've got a super staff. They absolutely have the best trained, most highly qualified physical therapists, and they really know all the exercises, and they know what's going to help you feel better. They know the exercises in that hydrotherapy pool. Every time I've gone in there and been in that pool, it really, really helped me. They put you through the paces to help you get back to being you. All you have to do is call them for an appointment at 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The absolute best. Okay. All right, it's your turn. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you this, and if this disrupts someone this morning and they're upset that might be of Democratic persuasion, so be it. Maxine Waters, a Democrat from California, is, in my opinion, the most vile and the most let's just say, reliable and unneeded and unnecessary. There's a whole bunch of uns you can put by her name. She should be replaced. She should be thrown out of office. Maxine Waters is a racist. How could anyone, black, white, brown, whatever, be proud to have her be their leader? She is malicious. She's got a terrible mouthpiece representing them. And simply put, she's a vulgar racist that should be replaced, as I said a moment ago. She made some of the most vile attacks on Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and also President Trump. And she doesn't care what she says or how she says it. On this program, I will not repeat the sentence that she said in regards to Ben Carson possibly being called in to testify about housing and urban development, because she said she would tear his apart. She is not at all professional. She is a black woman of privilege that has taken the over effort to make sure she gets all the privileges in her favor. And she's a ridiculous black racist who is a disgrace to all women in all walks of life. And I'll stand behind that statement. Maxine Waters is, simply put, repugnant. Your thoughts, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I can't be any more honest than that. Every time I see that woman on television, I absolutely cringe. And there's nothing about her that is at all professional, and there's nothing about her that anyone should appreciate or respect. She is absolutely the bottom of the barrel. I know some people that are right on top and always working and striving to be the best, and that's Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. They are the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area. And I'll tell you what, they invite the public to come by anytime for tours, ask questions, find out what the conditions are for your loved one to live there. They they really care. They really want to help. Don't forget Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. All right, come on, give me some calls. I want to get rolling here this morning. And the number, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. How many of you have seen the video that was put together by a private source? And it's a video. It's a humorous video. It's just nothing more than just a mocking, humorous video about CNN being taken down in the wrestling ring by Donald Trump. I mean, it's so innocuous. It's so innocent, basically. I mean, it's funny. It's nothing more than humor. He takes down a figure with the CNN logo on his head. It's totally in fun. I thought it was funny. Oh, contraire. CNN thinks it is equivalent to North Korea, or even more worrisome or bothersome. Yeah, as a matter of fact, most of their scheduling and airtime has been all about this video, why it's terrible. Now, and I'm going to give a complete paraphrase of this thing. I'm not going to give direct quotes on this. But now CNN has basically threatened the maker of that video and basically coerced and forced this man to make an apology. And also, do not commit these sins again, or we will unmask you and just vilify you in public. That's kind of blackmail, isn't it? The guy that made the video has the right to make the video. And it was nothing wrong. I mean, it was nothing like a severed head or anything like that. I mean, it was just CNN in a wrestling competition, WWF wrestling, and Donald Trump takes down WWF with these insignia on the forehead of CNN. I mean, come on. It was just in good, clean fun, honestly. But now the weak-kneed feelings of this lousy news network, CNN, they've been hurt. Oh, my goodness, we've got to go after this man. We can't have this kind of thing happen. It's so silly and so stupid. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you noticed how fast they found out who the guy was that done that video?
You know, I was just going to talk about that. You know, isn't it interesting that they could go with their detectives and they found out who it was? My goodness, they tracked him down, but they can't find anything else about possible Russian collusion? What's going on here?
That's my point I was making there. Yeah. Well, first off, there's nothing with that Russian collusion. It's just a form of the Democrats whining and crying because they lost and aren't man enough or woman enough to accept the blame where the blame should lie.
Did you see the video?
Yes.
Okay, you saw the video. Now, okay, let's just tear this apart. What on there was A, offensive, B, derogatory towards anyone? It was just in the spirit of humor. I mean, there's CNN or a logo on top of a CNN guy's head, and Trump takes him down in a wrestling move, and that's it. I mean, what is so vile about that?
Well, you got to understand the left. The left has no funny bone, especially when it comes pointing at them. They cannot laugh at themselves. They're too self-absorbed. They're just a snowflake. When something offends them, they just go off like a Roman candle.
Well, let's be fair here, Doug, and you're a fair guy, okay? Let's tear this thing apart a little bit and extend it to Kathy Griffin holding up a mock, severed, look-alike head of President Trump. All bloody, severed, meaning and intimating the death and beheading of Donald Trump. And people are saying, well, why couldn't she do that if he can do this video? There is nothing on this video nothing that intimates death and mayhem or anything else. It's just a kind of a WWF, which is as phony as can be anyway, approach to wrestling showing Donald Trump tackling and putting down CNN. I see there's not even a comparison there.
No, there isn't. There isn't. But with the Kathy Griffin deal, it was what the left wants, so they're not going to object to it. And if it's against them, then that's when they're going to scream and holler and say, well, it's endangering reporters.
Yeah. Now, right there.
The rhetoric can happen to that Scalise, that the whip or the congressman, who's had to go back into ICU because of infection.
Yeah.
And they won't accept anything yet. We never blamed Bernie Sanders for that because, this guy was a Bernie Sanders supporter and he, worshiped Bernie Sanders. So,
the whole world right now is at a very precipitous problem. It's not Donald Trump in a mock video knocking down CNN. It is North Korea ready to launch ICBMs with nuclear warheads. It is ISIS extending their killing machine to all points of the globe. But CNN devotes most of their programming to, they made fun of us, and Donald Trump tackled us in a video why the earth is coming to an end.
Exactly. They're very thin-skinned. They're very opinionated, and if you don't agree with them, then they use everything in their arsenal to try to get you to feel bad about what you did so you won't pick on them.
Yeah, that's the other...
Put on your big boy pants and big girl panties and join the world.
Yeah, let's not get them reversed. Anyway, what I was going to say is now CNN is coming out and saying things like, well, Trump bullied us. Oh, come on. For the months and months and months that they've been the attack dog that hasn't been fed any gravy train for 24 hours, they've been going after Trump like crazy. And now Trump bullied them.
Exactly. That's it. They're a bully, and when you hit a bully in the nose, they're going to cry.
Yeah. Well, in this case,
you need to realize that Trump is not a politician. The man, if you hit him, he's going to hit back. He's not going to turn the other cheek. He turn the other cheek and just let you go on and be afraid of what his ratings are. Trump doesn't give a darn about what his ratings are. He doesn't give a darn about the re-election. He does a good job. He knows he's going to get re-elected.
And what's so funny about this whole thing is that, like you said, and you said it very succinctly, is that the left is in a tailspin. They don't know how to react or act to Donald Trump because, quite frankly, look at what happened this morning in Poland. Hundreds of thousands of people turned out in this huge square to support him. They were yelling, "Go Trump, go Trump." And they were absolutely adamantly in favor of this man.
Exactly. They were hollering, "We love Trump."
Yeah.
Donald J. They were very supportive of Trump because Trump is for America first, and when America takes care of America, then you can take care of other people, just like your house. If you can't take care of your own family, how can you take care of other families?
Got you covered. Hey, is that your phone? I know you got to go, buddy. Talk to you later.
God bless.
All right, take care. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, Wheels, while we're waiting for another call, how about a good word, great word from the Silver State Stampede? Wheels? Are you there, buddy?
Nevada's oldest rodeo. The Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 13th, 14th, and 15th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of professional riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Thursday with the annual kickoff party featuring mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, tri-tip dinner for just $10, and an extra dose of the world-famous Ring of Fear. Head into Friday and Saturday for PRCA rodeo action with the award-winning Wild Child Rodeo Clown and dance the night away with the Jeff Palmer Band. So gather your friends and get your tickets today for the 20 2017 Silver State Stampede, July 13th through the 15th. And don't forget to wear your pink for Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night on Saturday. Family entertainment at its best with the 2017 Silver State Stampede at the Elko County Fairgrounds. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the egg.
Got you covered. Good times in Elko. Man, we had good times down there. Excellent event. By the way, too, I want to remind you about our friends over at Barry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my goodness, sales, service, and parts. 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome. Caller, I'll be right there. Addison Avenue West in Twin and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You know, a lot of you out mowing your lawn saying, I wished I had one of those Walker mowers. Oh, my goodness, 0% interest for 48 months. Get one. This is what the pros use. And, whoa, baby, can you mow your lawn? And they've got all the Bobcat excavators, all shapes and sizes. They've got it all for you right there. They have all the equipment to get the job done right. Barry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You stop in and see those good folks today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, old buddy. How are you doing?
I am great, older buddy. Thank you.
Well, yes, I appreciate that. You know, this deal with Donald Trump and CNN, he comes out on top.
Absolutely.
Once again.
Absolutely.
He is the winner.
And
CNN, they just can't seem to get it together.
Right now, that network, Keith.
I'm afraid of them. And the neat thing about this is Donald Trump didn't have anything to do with it.
Absolutely.
Somebody else stepped in and did his schoolyard fighting for him.
You know, I got to laugh at the left because they're so inept. They can't seem to do anything right. And now they're trying to apply the 25th Amendment in getting Trump out of office. I don't know if a lot of people realize how tumultuous and how trying it would be to use and implement the 25th Amendment of our Constitution. It would be virtually impossible. And anything is possible, but this is a wreck. The vice president has to do certain things, and then the two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives, have to do certain things, and you got to have a majority vote this, here, and there. It's just a mess, and I'm paraphrasing. But they're saying that Trump is mentally unbalanced, and so the Democrats are trying to use the 25th Amendment. You know, it's getting sick now to the point where why don't they get to work for the people, you and I, instead of all this balderdash?
You know, I never have heard of one of the straight attorneys, and there's a lot of good attorneys in the world. Too bad the bad ones are all Democrats. But anyway, it's a shame that they have to bring this up all the time.
I agree.
All of these attorneys that really know the Constitution and everything says this is not constitutional possible to impeach him under these terms. And people like Maxine Waters is just going off the rail.
Isn't that a pathetic woman? I mean, she should not be allowed to be anywhere close to politics. She is absolutely repugnant.
She ought to go over and spend some time with Yum Yum.
I like how you said that. Keith, I got another call. God bless you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Zach.
Yes, sir.
You remember the old saying about a house divided couldn't stand?
Amen.
How much more division can this country stand? Don't these people realize they're dividing the country even worse than it is right now?
You know, though, Tony, wait a minute.
Are so fractured, they don't know who to vote for, where to jump anymore. And the enemy is at the gates, and they're enjoying every minute of all this bull crap that's going on here.
Oh, you scared me there for a minute, Tony. You really did. Hey, I got to tell you what. You know who really is at fault here? It's the Republicans. You know why? They've got the House, they've got the Senate, They've got the Oval Office. If the Democrats don't want to play on the same softball field, go ahead and have an inter-squad game. Do your thing. Get it done. It's the Republicans that need to say the Democrats don't want to play ball, so let them stay home and look at their jersey in the closet.
Well, we got too many people there that are like Ryan and McConnell, and, what do we do? The public's going to have to make a whole lot of noise and let these people understand that they're going to be out of office the next election. Get on the phones and start burning up the phone lines.
Now, I couldn't agree more. I am so sick and tired of people letting the news in this country dictate what policies are. In other words, CNN, MSNBC, and those other left-wing liberal newscasts saying, well, they can't do this and they can't do that. So the Republicans seem to think, oh, well, maybe we can't do that. You got the power. You've got the numbers. You've got the presidency. Just go do it. And quite frankly, to heck with the Democrats.
Yeah, the Democrats, they're just on the verge of going off the cliff as it is. All they need is a little push, but nobody's pushing it.
Yeah, and when you hear the likes of Maxine Waters, really, what do you think of that woman? Tell me your thoughts.
I can't over the phone.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, she's a great divider. She's the one that people like her are causing some of the problems we're having in our big cities right now.
Oh, I agree with you.
The black woman should be going to fight for the freedoms of black people in the right way. Education, trying to get them off of welfare, where they become a proud part of the population, but
yes.
She's not doing it.
Yes.
She is a source of revolution in this country.
I totally agree.
Type of revolution.
She is so repugnant that I just wish everybody in the news media, I wished everybody in the halls of Congress would just ignore her for being totally inept and totally divisive. That's all she is. Tony, the best to you and Mary. God bless you. Stay out of the heat. Stay cool, my friend.
I certainly will.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I had to chuckle. I was taking notes for the program last night, and I got to thinking about all the many, many, many times on this program that I have asked if the left or Democrats in particular would call into the program and we could discuss various issues, etc. But, they can't because, they are like the cowardly lion. They can't do this. They're so afraid. They're so meek. Unless they get numbers, and then they can attack with loud voices if they're standing in a crowd. But when they're singular, they won't come on programs like this. They've turned me down every time I've asked. And you look at somebody like Maxine Waters. I really would like to have her come on the program and then start talking about her vulgarity, start talking about how she has been absolutely vocal against this president and against this administration, using some vile and very off-color language, etc., and let you, the audience, decide for yourself really how unbalanced this woman is and how she should be driven, completely driven. Here's the chauffeur. Get in the back. We're driving you out of office. She's pathetic. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, my goodness sakes, if you're not aware of it, it's going to be starting soon. The Oakley Pioneer Days, July 14th and 15th is the kickoff with the four-cylinder car race, the bump and rub. 2 big nights, and man, that's turned into a ripping good deal. And it goes all the way through the 22nd. I'm telling you what, on the 18th, they're going to have a great big team roping. Sign up at 6:30, rope at 7. On July 20th, they're going to have a big gymkhana. Friday and Saturday, July 21st and 22nd, open rodeo co-sanctioned with the IMPR. NHGRA. Wow. And then activities like basketball tournaments, Pioneer Day Parade on the 22nd at 11:30, and that's always a real good parade. All of this and so much more at Oakley Pioneer Days with the theme, Our Pioneer Heritage, Past, Present, and Future. These are really good folks up at Oakley, and they know how to have a good time. Everybody get on up there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning. I actually was calling to see if you would report anything about a lost dog. I'm from Washington State, and my German Shorthair swam the Snake River from Frenchman's Island over to the other side. It was last seen July 4th or July 3rd, same night that she swam the river, and we haven't seen her since, and we have a very heartbroken family.
Well, I can imagine.
I was hoping that listeners could keep an eye out for her, and I put flyers up around the area. My phone number is 509-679-7713.
All right, now hold on a second there, lady. You go too fast. Don't get nervous. First of all,
I'm sorry.
Wait, whoa. Just answer some questions. What kind of a dog is it? Is it wearing a collar? What color is it? Give us that.
She is a German Shorthair. It's a female.
Okay.
She's wearing 2 collars, a purple collar and a radio collar.
Okay. And she was lost in the area of where?
Well, I'm not familiar that much with the area, but she swam from Frenchman's Island across to the other side. So I guess the Rupert area.
Okay, so anybody that is in that immediate area and has seen a dog, what does she answer to? What's her name?
Her name is Ivy.
Heidi?
Yes.
Okay. And the number to call is...
Very friendly.
Okay.
She'll say hi, and then she would run off again. So if they could maybe even just take her to the Humane Society, she runs... She's very friendly, but she just stops for a second to say hi and then takes off again.
Okay, well, I'm not necessarily every day in the lost and found for dogs, but I'll tell you what, your number again is 509-679-7773. Is that right?
7713.
7713. There you go. All right. Well, you've just been on the air, and I'm sure people are looking for that dog. And if they see it, call 509-679-7713. Thank you for your call, and I hope you get your dog back.
Rewarded.
Pardon me?
They would be well rewarded.
There you go. People will do a lot when you have Washington in your hand. Thank you very much. I appreciate your call. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
There you go. Okay. Normally, I don't get into lost dogs and that type of thing, but the lady called in, and we wish her the best in finding her German Shorthair. And the number again, 509-679-7713. Okay. Calls welcome, 436-22, please, no more lost dogs. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And it's time for our weather forecast. And the weather brought to you by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, my goodness, the only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in southern Idaho with Dr. Christine Pickup. And, a loss of hearing might be something to do with medication or maybe a certain health condition, whatever. You'd better check it out. Call for an appointment and a hearing screening today at 312-0957. That number again, 312-0957, right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Here's Gina with the weather.
We are getting one day closer to the weekend, and we are in a heat advisory according to the weather forecast, and we're going to remain in that until Friday evening. Today, as far as weather is concerned, sunny skies. We are still in that high-pressure system. Looking at a high of 97 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, low of 62. Tomorrow, Sunny skies, high of 96 with an overnight low of 61. Sunny and 97 for Friday, looking at 100 degrees for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the
Ooh, baby, it's going to be Sweat City. You'll feel like you're in a sauna. Calls welcome as we tell everybody the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And they would like to help you with your hearing. All you have to do is just give a call at 312-0957. They're located right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Good folks over there. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. As we mentioned when Doug was on the phone a little earlier, House Majority Whip Steve Scalise that was shot at a practice game in Virginia is back in intensive care right now. Evidently, there are some serious implications that infection might be starting up again in his system after all the surgeries and everything, and they have to watch him like a hawk. And we certainly hope and pray for the best for this man and his family. Steve Scalise back in intensive care because of infection concerns as of this morning. You know, I have nothing good to say about any group or any person that elevates themselves above everyone else. That's what happens when you have a group like Black Lives Matter. There is an elevation to where they are numero uno, and they are sacred from any criticism whatsoever. Black Lives Matter is a group of nothing more than racist thugs. This is purely my opinion, that are bent on anarchy in the United States of America. Anytime, every time that I hear something about Black Lives Matter, it just makes my skin crawl because I'm so filled with animosity against these people and what they've done and how they have tried to acclaim their power. Starting with going into college boardrooms, etc., taking over college libraries, taking over, denouncing whites, and people let them get away with it. And then, of course, marching on bridges, closing down bridges for people that are in emergency vehicles, ambulances, pregnant mothers, etc., all having to suffer because they, the Black Lives Matter, they were going to take it over and they were going to prove their point. They're nothing more than racist thugs. And then coming out with pigs in a blanket, roast them, kill them, talking about police. And then some of the most repugnant remarks made by these racist thugs after the shooting of the black policewoman in New York the other evening. You know, the attacks on our police are beyond the pale. The attacks on civilization in this country are just overboard. We are looking at anarchy. We are looking at chaos. We are looking at the left jumping right into the same puddle of water with the Black Lives Matter and other groups of anarchy and just absolutely destroying the fabric of this country. If you have any good words to say about anarchy and the Black Lives Matter and the mess and the thugs and the punks that are involved, better not call this program. I am just sick of the way that the TV cameras and the radio interviews and the newspapers even give a bit of credence to Black Lives Matter. No one, not one person, is worth another person more so than anyone. In other words, what I'm saying is their lives are no more important than maybe someone else's life or someone else's grandfather, someone else's nephew, etc. I am so sick and tired of their promotion and their thuggery. They've made terrible comments about our police. They've made terrible comments and acted in a very anarchist way, and I, for one, would like to see that group totally disbanded. Your thoughts, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Please, love to hear from you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, something I seen on the news early this morning, and you were probably out doing your chores or something, was the state of Oregon is now passing a bill that will make the insurance companies pay for abortion. Have you heard this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we did a segment on this, I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and to me that's nothing more than legalized murder.
Well, you know, the problem is this is an east-west thing. Eastern Oregon people seem to be reasonable, and they're Republican. And in the West, especially in the Portland area, it is just run rampant as far as liberals are concerned.
Well,
they met the legislature met and went right down the line, Democrats against the Republicans.
Well, I'll tell you what.
A lot more of those Democrats, and so this probably will become law.
Let me tell you about what's going on the left coast, be it California with their idiocy, and now it has escaped and oozed into Oregon. I made the statement yesterday, and I'm just absolutely sickened by Oregon becoming the first state to allow gender-neutral licenses. Let me ask you something, Keith, and you're a pretty straight shooter, and you have a lot of common sense. Hang on a second. Listen to me. If somebody has a license that says nothing, male, not female, they don't know. They're just gender neutral. And they're arrested in another state, or they're wanted for a crime, and the only ID they have is, well, we think it's a guy, but he dressed as a lady, we don't know. I mean, this is going to throw identification into total chaos in this country, and I, for one, I think it's laughable, silly, frivolous, and absolutely against society to not honor what God gave us initially from the get-go with Adam and Eve, male and female, and we've taken and trashed that.
Now, who is the governor of Oregon?
I am trying to remember his name, and I'm not finding it all of a sudden. Be that as it may, it's no big deal, but go ahead.
But the thing of it is, as long as you got somebody like him leading the country, and it wouldn't matter whether he was a Democrat or Republican. He's a doggone nut. And he's out to destroy America as we know it.
Well, we're destroying the moral fabric and the family values and the morality and ethics that this country was founded on through idiocy and listening to a very, very, very small percentage of crybaby voices that want to make themselves the showboats of our society, and it's sickening. I've got another call. Keith, God bless you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
The governor of Oregon is Kate Brown.
That's right. That's right.
She's married to a man and has a girlfriend.
That's right.
Okay? This is the kind of insanity that these people have elected. You know, whether or not it's Oregon, Washington, or California, our brethren to the west of us have lost their minds. They've sold their souls. Go ahead.
No, Randy, I appreciate you coming up with that name. I could not remember her name. Thank you. But when you look at what's going...
She's liquid, Zeb. Today she may want to be a man.
Well, hold on a second. Our whole society is absolutely being taken up into a little scientific vial, being shaken, not stirred, and thrown all over the floor because there's no more morality left, there's no more ethics, there's no more values, and we're listening to a very small percentage of people that are in total control. I really don't care about the transgenders. I really don't care anything about their movement, but I do care about what's right and wrong, and we need to have identification processes say male or female. There ain't nothing else, Randy boy.
Well, this is the thing, see. It is so confusing that, there's no way that they can see. Okay, say, for instance, you pull over a liquid person that day, and you grab your...
Hurry, Randy. I've only got less than 30 seconds. Hurry.
Well, you know how they talk to him on the phone with the little microphone on their collar, and they say something, and it's offensive to this person.
Yeah.
And there, right there, is a potential lawsuit because the officer said something slanderous to this liquid vice, whatever. You see, we've lost track of what really matters in America: work, principles, morals, ethics. And no, we're distracted by everything that doesn't matter, and in the meantime, we're getting our butt kicked.
I got to run, but very good point, Randy. Call me back when I got more time, buddy. Thank you. Hey, don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you for safe summertime driving. They've got all your tires for your pickups, SUVs, cars, trailers, you name it. You need tires, they've got them. All the tread designs, all the sizes, they absolutely are the best. All 7 locations. And don't forget the best in brake service, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, they've got them all, but the best in service. They really care. They really take care of you, and the best are right here in Magic Valley. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland and Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run to the news, and then we'll be back with the Chamber of Commerce report. Don't go away, Zeb at the Ranch. Now, there's a guy that's a real pillar of the community. Morning, Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh my goodness, July and August are just chock full of all kinds of special outdoor concerts and family reunions and class reunions and weddings, and everybody's got all the things put together, the tables, the hors d'oeuvres. Somebody forgot the porta potties. Potties for your party. You got to have them. Call Western Waste. They can help you. Always at your disposal. 734-6969. That's right. All the porta potties for your party. Western Waste Services serving you. Oh, before we go to Kyle over at the Chamber of Commerce, I also want to remind you, let me see, I got to get my list here. Oh, yes, our friends over at Ark Animal Hospital. Hello, Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, everybody with the warm hearts for cold noses. Oh, my goodness, they've been voted again. Almost choked to death right there. Oh, don't do that, Zep. Pardon me. Voted Minnecache's best veterinary hospital for multiple years. Woo, that hurt. Anyway, summer season is for ticks and fleas to bother your dogs. And if they get them, they might even pass them on to you. So be careful. Watch out for ticks. Ark Animal Hospital, a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all. They're located at 750 21st Street in Heyburn. Number to call, 678-1177. Whew, didn't know if I was going to make it through that. Oh, my. Let me also remind you quick. No, I'm going to go right to Kyla. I've got to get that done. Good morning, Kyla, at the Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Hi, Zeb. How are you? You okay?
Oh, man, I took a little sip of water right after the news, and all of a sudden I realized I shouldn't have. You ever have that when you've been in broadcasting, you start choking and you can't stop?
Yes, or laughing. It's one of the two that happens, and then you're in trouble. So I'm glad you're okay. You're not choking, because that would be horrible.
Well, like my neighbor always says, I'm just peachy. Go ahead, and what's going on at the Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think we just came off a wonderful 4th of July celebration here in southern Idaho, and we have lots more things that are coming up this weekend. First of all, you've got Declo Days that kicks off on Friday night. Friday night, they're going to be having a fundraiser dinner with the Declo Fire Department. That'll start around 7 p.m. They've got all sorts of great stuff for sale. So come and get some yummy food, and then you can stay with your family if you'd like to for the 3rd annual movie that they show at dusk right there in Kiwanis Park in Declo. And that is just going to be a ton of fun. This year's theme is Our Roots Run Deep. And then on Saturday for Declo Days, they always start off with the 5K Hammer Run, which is at 7 a.m. Then they have breakfast in the park there, and then the parade starts at 10:30. And I'm letting folks know that because, honestly, it is the greatest, shortest parade with the most amount of candy that I have ever been to. But if you come late, you're going to miss it. So 10:30 is when you want to be in downtown Declo. And then they're going to have all sorts of fun food, games, helicopter rides, fun stuff like that going on in the downtown area of Declo, and then an American Legion baseball game that evening.
There you
go. And then
go.
also on Saturday, you do not want to miss, this is going to be very exciting, right on the Snake River. It's the 19th annual wakeboard competition brought to you by Idaho Water Sports. And so Wake in the Snake is going on, pre-registration by July 8th. It's free to watch, so just bring a lawn chair. Maybe bring an umbrella because the sun's going to be pretty hot. And then they'll have food and all sorts of stuff for sale. But if you want to watch some exciting action on the Snake River, definitely get to Wake in the Snake. That is going to be just a ton of fun right there in the Burley-Hayburn area.
Wow. And, everybody thought maybe everything died after the 4th of July. No, it's just starting. You open the book and there's all kinds of activities.
There is. You know what? We just had one of our staff members filling out all the activities for July and August to go back through that, and I think we ended up with like 5 pages of stuff. So honestly, get on MinneCasuChamber.com, I should say, and check out all the different events that are going on. We get a lot of phone calls at the Visitor Center this time of year. People have family reunions. They've got folks coming into town. What the heck am I going to do with them? Just go to MinneCasuChamber.com. And you can check out everything that is going on in the area.
And what's really amazing, I've only got a little time, but I want you to comment on this. This year is going so fast. We are only literally weeks away from the beginning of fair season.
We are, and we have had lots of calls about that. So folks are gearing up for both the Minidoka and Cassia County fairs. And I'm excited. I can't believe how fast this year is going. I don't know it seems like time has just sped up, Zeb. So I don't know what's causing that, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of folks are going to be supporting those events, and we look forward to seeing everyone out of those.
And Kyla, you do such a great job along with all the other folks over there at the Chamber, giving out the information, making sure that people are aware of what's going on. So tell everyone how they can get a hold of you if they have questions about any events coming up.
Well, the first thing I would say is get online at MinneCasuChamber.com, click on the events tab on the website, and that will bring you, and you can just click through the calendars and literally see everything. And then you can click on the individual events for more information. And then also give us a call, 679-4793.
Kyla, I thank you so much for doing this little segment with us, and thank you for all you do over there to help others at the Chamber of Commerce office. Kyla, thank you. God bless. Have a super week.
Zeb, you take care. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, they are super nice people helping the entire community. Thank you very much. Want to remind you, yesterday we were really blessed to have Joel Heward on the air with us from Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, and he was talking about a new program that they just implemented, and it was announced yesterday on the program called FAMIC, and it's a program, and I'm saying it in my words, I'm sure they have better ways to describe it, to help gain information for your family and for future posterity. I think it's a wonderful idea. Call them and just find out more. 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, of course, always with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity, serving you and your family when there's the loss of a loved one, and they can and will help you with all the arrangements. Once again, that number, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Wonderful people serving you. By the way, too, I want to remind you about our friends over at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, hello. How are you folks? Health insurance, retirement planning, life insurance, employee benefits, all of this and more with people that are really dedicated and responsive to your needs. Hey, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Here's the number to call. Here's the number to make an appointment, 436-4424. You call them today. Right now, I really look forward to this segment on Thursdays. Last week, we had a stand-in for Tony McCammon, and he did a wonderful, wonderful job. But let's go ahead and see if Tony's on the line this morning with the program segment, It's Time to Grow. From the University of Idaho Horticulture Department, here's Tony McCammon.
Boy, is it time to grow ever. It's so nice outside. The corn is coming up. You can actually watch it grow. It's so nice and warm. It is a great time to grow. Thanks for having me on, Zeb.
No, it's my pleasure, and I got to tell you that Mr. Zott did a great job last week filling in for you. He was very informative, very educated, and so the people that you've had fill in while you've been gone for a couple of times, they have done a great job. You should compliment them.
Well, it's really about me. I just surround myself with really smart people. So, no, they do. Larry is one of my favorite friends, favorite master gardeners. I don't know if he shared the story about how he got started, but did he share that story?
Yes, he did briefly, but like I said earlier, I mean, the people that you've had fill in for you, extremely knowledgeable, and boy, they know all about gardening.
Yes, they do. They do, yeah. And if you want to be a master gardener, I definitely recommend signing up. We have a waiting list, an email that goes out to this waiting list. As soon as we start sending out information for the program, you can sign up to get on that waiting list just by simply calling my office at 734-9590.
Okay.
Here at the Extension office in Twin Falls.
Tony, quickly, give us the sponsors of this segment for It's Time to Grow.
Oh, you betcha. Southern Idaho Horticulture Programs. We have a Facebook page that you can look up. Both the Master Gardener Associations donate to this program, the Magic Valley Master Gardener Association, as well as the Mini-Cassia Master Gardener Associations. Also, Sears in Burley also donate to this program. And one of our sponsors, corporate sponsor, is a Monty's Plant Food and Humic Acid, and they're a great sponsor, a great company to work with.
All right, now, my friend, we haven't had a chance to converse. What are we going to talk about this morning?
Well, I know you talked with Larry last week a little bit about pollinators, and
yes.
I'm sure he talked about some of the plants that pollinators are attracted to and how to create way stations and places for the insects to rest in their migrations. But I was thinking maybe taking that idea and moving it forward and talking a little bit about some of the research that I do with the University of Idaho. This sounds like way too much fun, but I get to go on hikes at least once or twice a year, and we look for native plants. So I call this extreme botanizing, especially with my experience last year. the leader of our expedition had a heart attack in the Frank Church Wilderness.
Oh, my.
And he was on the hill for 10 hours before we could life flight him out.
Oh, my.
And that's definitely extreme botanizing. But we were, and he's doing great. It's been a year, and he's up and he's playing basketball and golf, and he even went skiing this last winter. So it's pretty amazing, the recovery he's had. But those trips, we look for plants that have characteristics that would look really nice in a landscape. And we take those plants back to Aberdeen, where we grow those out. And there's some really beautiful native plants from the mountains that we've collected throughout the Intermountain West. That's Nevada, Utah, of course, Idaho, Montana, Washington, Oregon. We've traveled all over into the mountain ranges and collected these plants, and we're now selling those through a company here in town, and they're showing up at Webb Nursery and Native Roots, and so they're starting to become available, and that's really exciting for us who've kind of done this research and the fun but yet grueling process to select out the right plants for people's landscapes.
Okay, now let me ask you this, and it's a naive question coming from a man that really doesn't understand all about plants and different species. Do we know all the species of all the plants, or are they still finding new species in various countries or various parts of the world?
Oh yeah, they're still finding new plants. But what's more interesting, and I've even stumbled across some plants that they don't fit the normal penstemon. They're a cross, and nature continues to cross. They're not like, okay, they have all the books written, so we don't have to do our business anymore. They're still pollinating and cross-pollinating, and seeds are developing, and those seeds are producing a cross between two penstemons or two buckwheats. And so now we have this new species that we know it's a cross between two or three different penstemons, but it has completely different habitat in everything. I mean, it's different size, different color, and so we have to add that to the book. And so nature doesn't stop for us botanists. They just keep going and keep creating new plants. And we just have to keep going back into those areas to see if anything's changed.
Well, let me ask you this. When you find a plant that you think would be very attractive for an outdoor scene, someone's yard, etc., what do you do? I mean, what's the schematic there? Do you take a sample of it and take it back to the laboratory, or what goes on there?
Well, we in some cases we take the seed. If we may take a GPS and come back if it's just off the side of a road. With most plants, the seed germinates a lot better. We get a lot better success rate in growing out those plants if we can collect the seed. We do have to get permits to do this work. This isn't something that the average listener can just start heading up into the mountains and start collecting seed for their landscape. Or even more so to sell. That would be illegal. But we're collecting it for scientific, and we get permits from the BLM, the Forest Service, depending on where we're going. So anyway, we collect the seed. In some cases, if we're way out, like when we were up in the Frank Church Wilderness, we got permits to actually harvest plants, and we put them in coolers, and we take those back to the laboratory in Aberdeen, and put those in pots and leave them in a greenhouse for a little bit through the winter, and try to grow them out. And we have pretty good success rate. We pretty much got that down to a science now. So it's really kind of a multifaceted. We have different ways of collecting the plants and growing them out.
Well, let me ask you this question. I mean, have you on one of your excursions, one of your hikes, have you and other botanists looked at a plant and said, I don't know, Bernie, I don't know what it is. What do you think? And he says, no, Frank, I have no idea. I mean, have you discovered a new version?
Yeah. Actually, a couple years ago, I was down in the Bajo Range in southeastern Utah, and we were going along this hillside, and I saw this Monardella. Monardella is a type of mint, and so I'm looking at all this mint. It's beautiful. It's growing in this talus rocky ledge, and I finally went up and just wanted to smell it, and I smelled it, and I was like, well, that's interesting. And I was like, hey, you smell this. What do you think it is? And he smelled it, and I said, what do you think it smells like? He goes, it smells like pineapples. I was like, I know. And we looked at each other, and we just never smelled a mint that smelled like pineapples.
I'll be darned.
And so anyway, we definitely collected some of that. We're trying to grow that out, and we actually have a couple plants growing in Aberdeen now.
You know, I got to ask you, how did you ever get an interest in being a botanist? I mean, to really get involved in horticulture. I mean, wow, when you were a little boy, I can just imagine you going around terrorizing the neighborhood, digging everybody's plants up.
You know, I was a that's a funny story. That goes way back, but I was a lifeguard in Western Washington on a private lake, at a private park on a lake, and it rained a lot as a lifeguard, and so I didn't get to do a lot of lifeguarding. I ended up weeding the roses and pruning the roses and fixing the sprinkler system. So I was a lifeguard by trade, but I ended up being a gardener and most of the time, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed getting my hands dirty and learning to do those things. And my master's degree was in water conservation, and so I really quickly started to love the native landscapes, the native plants, and hiking through the mountains and looking for wildflowers. And so that's kind of where this love of this domestication program of our native plants. This has really been something that's taken off and has been a part of my life, and probably will continue to be a part of my life.
Well, let me ask you, Tony, everybody's so concerned about the environment, but it always seems to replenish and rejuvenate itself, like the grasses in the spring. As a botanist and a horticulturalist, what are your concerns?
Well, my concerns are mainly overgrazing of a lot of our wildlands. That's been, as I've gone up and looked for plants, it's really hard to find some areas that haven't been trampled by, our livestock. And so that's, and there's some areas where there's the only place that specific plant grows was on that hillside that was trampled by that livestock group. So, we're losing some of these species, these very rare and endemic species, to certain areas due to overgrazing, and that's something that's a concern of mine. But that's just one thing. That's just one thing. I think water conservation is always in the back of my mind, and we had a great year this year. We got a lot of water, and we can hope that's the trend that's going to continue in the future. But the trend for the last 25 years has been less and less water. So that's always a concern, and I think we're trying to create a niche, create a market for homeowners that can still have a beautiful landscape, and a landscape that can use about 80% less water than most of our normal landscapes that we're planting right now.
Now, if people have questions, and we're almost at the end of the segment, if they have questions about different flora and fauna, and they really are concerned about maybe the beautification of your home and everything, can they call you at your office at the University of Idaho Extension? Tell us how they can get a hold of you.
You bet. Yeah, you can give me a call. My phone number here is 734-9590. I'm at the Extension office, the University of Idaho Extension office in Twin Falls at the old hospital, just down the hall from the DMV. You can visit with me. You can also visit with my master gardeners. As Zeb was saying, we've had a couple master gardeners on here, and they're just excellent. They're very knowledgeable, and they too have a love of plants and landscaping. And we do a master gardener tour of landscapes each year, and I'm blown away with some of the landscapes that my master gardeners have. So you're welcome to contact them. They have their diagnostic clinics in some locations on Wednesday afternoons, and some locations, like today, we're going to have a diagnostic clinic here in the Twin Falls office. But all the counties have master gardeners working with their offices, and you can contact any of your local extension offices and find a master gardener to talk to.
This man is interesting, and I've enjoyed having him on my program every Thursday. Tony McCammon, and give us a list of the great sponsors of this segment one more time.
You bet. The Southern Idaho Horticulture Program. Check us out on Facebook. The Master Gardener Association, the Magic Valley and the Mini-Cassia Master Gardeners Association, and the Monty's Plant Food and Humic Acid, as well as Sears in Burley. Thank you, Sears in Burley.
Now,
all of our sponsors.
Real quick, what's the tease for next week's program? What are we going to talk about?
Well, where it's gotten so hot, I think people's grasses are going to be burning up.
Okay.
And there's going to be a couple of reasons that grasses are burning up. And so let's kind of delve into those reasons and see if we can get some people some help.
Some hot grass. Okay, Tony. Thank you very much. Tony McCammon, University of Idaho Area Extension Horticulturalist, Twin Falls County Extension. Thank you very much for It's Time to Grow. Have a great week, Tony. Thank you.
You too. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy. Thank you much. Tony McCammon. And interesting man and interesting segment. Thank you very much. Hey, I got to pay some bills. Don't forget the Idaho Rodeo Hall of Fame is going to have their great big induction ceremonies on July 28th and 29th at the Canyon Crest Event Center. Friday night's going to be a tough enough to wear pink night, and a percentage of the proceeds goes to breast cancer awareness. It's a $10 entry fee. Come on down to the Canyon Crest Event Center from 5 to 8 p.m. Then on Saturday night, the 29th, Hall of Fame induction, 5 p.m. social hour, dinner at 6, then the induction. Tickets are $25, and they're going to be honoring the legends of rodeo like our own Idaho Dean Oliver. So everybody try to be there. Thanks to D.L. Evans Banks, Coors Tech Distributors, and, of course, many other folks. And please, if you want tickets, call 312-2976. Also, really quick, as I look down at my list of things that I better get taken care of, want to remind you about Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes, fun in the sun, fun in the water with all the watercraft, all the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides. Don't give me the excuse, well, there's nothing to do. Yes, there is. Get outside and enjoy nature. Well, by golly, maybe go to the lakes and the rivers with the watercraft. Hit the mountains and all the trails. My goodness sakes, let's ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Great accessory department, super service department to keep you running. Yep, this is where the fun is sold. Let's Ride in Rupert. Really, really good folks. Oh, and don't forget, too, our friends with Autumn Haven. I just absolutely appreciate the fact that they're on our program. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. Number to call, 436-3200. They invite the public to visit their facility anytime, and they make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. It is the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they welcome you to stop by and call 436-3200. 436-3200. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center in Rupert. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Well, look who's here. She just picked up the telephone, and she's with us right after the Independence Day weekend. Good morning, Rita Ramsey.
Morning. How you doing?
I am good. Well, did you have a good family gathering on Independence Day weekend?
We did, yes.
And ice cream and firecrackers and what else?
Well, that just about sums it up. A little water play and that kind of thing. Parade and,
Well, it sounds like you had a good time, like everybody should have. Hey, I've got to ask you this morning, did you see, and I'm sure you did, the very innocuous video of Donald Trump, a humor-filled video, Donald Trump versus CNN, like the portrayal of a WWF wrestling match? Oh, good heavens, Rita. You would think the sky is falling. CNN is in a quandary. What are your thoughts?
This just goes to show you how crazy these people are when something like this comes up. All of a sudden, they're out for somebody's blood, and they were out for the wrong person to start with, and then they find out who it is, and it's like, well, let's go after him, forgetting that free speech is available. And that video that was made was not threatening. It was quite comical. And for CNN to just go ballistic, it just shows who they really are. They're just a bunch of crazies.
You know, that network is in, like the old slang expression, you're in a heap of trouble, boy. They are totally off the wall right now. CNN doesn't know which way is up, and now they are being accused of possible blackmail against the producer of this video. This thing's not over yet.
Well, it's not, and if this fellow has anything going for him, somebody, and it ought to be an attorney from one of the, foundations that helps people when they get in quandaries like this, ought to go after CNN and show them that they mean business. Because unless they do, it's just going to continue, and CNN becomes the big bully, and they can get anybody to fall over and play dead if they want, and that's where it's been for a long time, is that, well, we're powerful, we can do anything, and they've become tyrants. And so this fellow needs to have somebody step up to the plate and say, hey, we're gonna come after you. If you're trying to suppress his right to freedom of speech, we're going to prove to you that you can't do it. And if nothing else, just for a ruling, not necessarily monetary compensation, but for a ruling to show, hey, you're out of line. You can't do that. That's just wrong. If you don't like it, don't pay attention to it. But
I've got to ask you to the childish response by CNN and Wheels. We got a little feedback. Watch that. The childish response by CNN saying that, well, Trump is a bully. He's bullied us. Listen, all the attacks, all the vicious news stories, all the slanderous stories that they, along with MSNBC and others, have run ever since Donald Trump threw his hat in the ring to denigrate this man. And how dare these low people at CNN say that he's a bully?
Well, it's just crazy. CNN has just had free reign for too long, and they make it look like somebody else is the bad guy when, they're calling a lot of attention to this, and I would hope that, everybody would see if they can find it and go on and expose it and let everybody see it, and maybe even put it on YouTube, make a little money off of it. But CNN needs to find out that, you know what, you don't have free range, you can't do everything, you don't rule the world. It's totally different when you're doing that kind of thing to people.
Absolutely.
Showing things or saying this or that and the other, and then, oh, I guess we have a retraction, and then it's kind of a silent retraction. But they're the big bully on the block. They always have been, and now if somebody wants to call it that, they're the victim.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's a whole different story, and we can just be, the tyrant and try to suppress someone of their freedom of freedom of press or freedom of speech or whatever you want to call it.
Last hour, I really condemned, and I meant everything I said about a very vulgar racist. And I'm talking about Democratic Maxine Waters of California. She is the most malicious mouthpiece, I think, for the Democratic Party. She is vulgar, she is a racist, and she should be replaced. What are your thoughts about Maxine Waters?
Well, I not only agree with those things that you just said, but let's put it into perspective here. So she's black, and she's a representative. She's voted into her office by lots of people. I thought it was quite interesting. There's an article that stems from Tucker Carlson's interview with her. And, she's said all kinds of things about Ben Carson and, he's just rich because he's a brain doctor and everything else. And she's tried to make it look like that he's the bad guy. He doesn't know anything about people who are on welfare, or people who have to live in the slums and that type of thing. Well, guess what? She's really out of touch, because we all know that Ben Carson grew up in that environment. He grew up with a single mom. He grew up in the slums. He grew up with the threat of being on welfare, but his mom crawled out of it and said, "We're not going to do that. You boys are going to be readers so you can learn. You're not going to watch TV." And he grew up among those kind of people, and he knows what the situation is, and that's what makes him probably most qualified to be the HUD secretary. And for her to start shouting of that he doesn't know this and he doesn't know that and everything else, she's turning away from the fact that she lives in a wealthy neighborhood. She doesn't even live close to any of her constituents. And Tucker Carlson says, consider where she lives, in a 6,000 square foot, $4.3 million mansion in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Now, how'd she afford a place like that after spending the last 40 years working in government? We'd have to speculate on that one. And how does she keep getting reelected when she doesn't even live in her own district? There's a lot of stuff going on there that's not right, and all she's trying to do is turn somebody into the bad guy and make him look like he's a bad guy and out of touch. And it's about time that somebody turned the tables on him and show her for what she is.
Well, she, talking about Maxine Waters, and I use the term a vulgar racist, and she is. She's despicable. I will not say on my program and use the quotation about what she said she would do when Dr. Ben Carson was testifying before her committee. I find her to be a very vile person, a very sickening personality, and one that really can get away with saying the things that you and I wouldn't dare say on the radio. She says as news quotes on the news at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's sad, and these people are just mouthy, and they get all kinds of coverage. And the people who are really in the trenches doing the work, and they get accused of being the bad guy by somebody who's not doing the work. And these tables have been turned, and people need to take notice of this, because she's just one loudmouth representative. There's a bunch of them out there, and all they're doing is trying to deflect any arrows that are coming at them to somebody else, because, well, I'm an important person and you shouldn't question me.
Yeah. We just went through Independence Day weekend, and I was really upset as to some of the absolute obtuse and stupid people that were trying to be unpatriotic on the 4th of July Independence Day celebrations. There were people going around various functions around the United States telling them not to stand up and honor the flag, not to stand up and honor our Pledge of Allegiance or our national anthem. And there were others that were just absolutely saying, don't do this. Salon Magazine came out and said, if you want to really be unpatriotic, start flying the flag upside down against the Trump administration. What is there to gain by being a bunch of idiots like this?
I don't know. This just goes to show there are a few different Americas. There's the America that we live in, where there's community and love of country and love of God and love of our fellow men for most part, and people who are in the big urban areas where they, it's just like, well, we just hate everything. It's, if it's not good for us. And I can only say one thing to them. Get the heck out of the United States of America. Go someplace else. We don't want you here.
You know, and I agree with you, and it's really kind of funny. I don't have the list in front of me, but there was like 30 to 35 so-called stars and famous people that said they'd leave and go to Canada if Trump was elected. Well, they're still here. Good heavens, did you not apply for the tickets? We'll help pay for them.
I think we ought to round them up and get them a group rate and get them out of here. Just get the heck out of here.
I totally agree. Hey, I've got to do a weather forecast, and when I come back, I want to talk to you about Barack Obama. He's not out of the news yet. As a matter of fact, I think he should be indicted and investigated. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Right now, the weather brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. CPAs providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. With the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. They can help you, your family, and your business. Please remember 2 locations, 1710 Overland and Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. And right now, here's the weather.
We are getting one day closer to the weekend, and we are in a heat advisory according to the weather forecast, and we're going to remain in that until Friday evening. Today, as far as weather is concerned, sunny skies. We are still in that high-pressure system. Looking at a high of 97 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 96 with an overnight low of 61. Sunny and 97 for Friday. Looking at 100 degrees for Saturday. That is your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Wow. Everybody jump in the pool. The weather brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. CPAs, as I said, serving the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years with locations in Burley and Rupert. Get a hold of the best to work and help you. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Rita, this should be fairly simple for most people to understand, but if Obama knew that there might be possible Russian attempts at hacking our election in August of 2016, why didn't he do something? The election was in November. Are you, like me, thinking that everybody thought it was a lead pipe cinch that Hillary was going to win, so let them do what they want to do? It didn't work that way.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable that as many people knew about that happening when it did. And it was like, okay, it's okay. We aren't going to worry about it because we're going to win anyway, and then leave it that way. And then all of a sudden, when the tables turned and they're not the winners, it's like, oh man, now we've got to find some reason to put this blame on Trump, make it look like that. Yeah. You know, he was the one who was inviting this, and they were the ones that were guilty. You know, we'll first point to Jeff Sessions because one time he met with some Russian people, and he was remotely connected with the Trump administration because he advised Trump early on about 2 or 3 things and that type of thing. It's just absolutely crazy. And the thing that's bad about it, and this is the part that just really makes me crazy, is that there's a ton of people out there that will hear his or the news take on it saying, oh yeah, Trump's the one who got those Russians involved in it, and that's the reason he won is because they interrupted the elections and all that kind of stuff. Is there's a bunch of people out there that believe it because they're uninformed, and it just makes me crazy that they can, you know, take that hook and just swallow it. And it's pathetic, but that's the world that we live in, and that's why we're in the trouble that we are, is that people will not get informed.
Yeah, but let's go a step further on this. If Robert Mueller is appointed as a private investigatory system and committee, with people working underneath him to find out about possible any Russian collusion or Russian hacking, surely, if it's any kind of an investigation, they've got to go back to the Obama administration and say, wait a minute, President Obama, if you knew this and you possibly were the instigator of letting this happen, you really are the person that should be under investigation. Am I wrong?
No, he definitely needs to recuse himself because he was involved in what was going on. He knew information about it before he was ever appointed to what he's supposed to be doing. And there's a huge conflict of interest, and he should not be involved in it one bit.
Yeah, but what honestly do you think is going to happen? I still think there is so much sleaze and ooze in Washington, D.C. right now. I don't think this investigation, if you want to term it that, by Mueller is going to do anything other than just point fingers possibly at the Trump administration. And I think Obama and Hillary and John Kerry and the rest of them, they're going to walk down the yellow brick road scot-free.
They will, and he'll pull up to the rear and walk down with them. All he's got to do is keep pointing a few fingers and making sure that there's enough interest to kind of keep it somewhat breathing. And once he does that, then he can just kind of let it breathe on its own, just keep it alive. That's all he has to do. Because if he actually did start investigating, he'd find out that there's no default on the Trump administration. There's nothing that needs to be changed. And as long as he can keep it alive, that there's speculation and not bring up any facts, that's the way they want to do it. And that's the way they operate. That's their mode of operating is pointing fingers and keeping something alive, even though it's a lie and they know it's a lie, because the American people will take it. They'll take it and run with it and think that that's the truth because they're too dang lazy to get informed about what the real truth is.
You know, and speaking of the real truth, I've got to ask you this. Now, and I'm chuckling because it borders on idiocy and insaneness. The left, the Democrats, the Russian collusion, that basketball didn't bounce. And so now they're going to try, it looks like, using the 25th Amendment to go after Donald Trump and say that he's inept, his mind is not working properly, and now they're saying they're going to try to implore the 25th Amendment to be their savior to get rid of the Trump administration. Ay, 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 as my grandmother used to say. What do you think about this?
Well, that's exactly what they'll do, and like I said, they're just grasping for straws. They're trying to see if they can find anything that will be worth looking at. The big problem is that in order for that to happen, Vice President Pence has to be on board, and this is a coup. You can call it whatever you want. Anybody can say no, it isn't, or whatever. But this is a coup, and I think there's a lot of people in Congress besides the Democrats that are on board with this, and they're going to try to do that. President Pence would have to be on board before it can go anywhere, and I just don't really see that happening. But they're going to try because they're just bad. They're bad sports. The thing that you said early this morning that the Harrisons had sent you about if the horse dies, for crying out loud, get off of it. And I just think that it's really sad that they'll be doing this because they're counterproductive to getting anything done that needs to be done and taken care of with our country, and they're just interested in tearing it down.
Now, tomorrow, Trump is in Poland this morning, was in Poland this morning, and he spoke to hundreds of thousands of people. It was really an effective speech. Tomorrow, he meets with Putin, and already, a couple of days ago, the media started their shark-crazy frenzy of coming up and conjuring up different stories about illicit activities with Trump and Putin. I mean, the media is in a frenzy already, and they haven't even met yet.
Well, if they don't have the news that they want and they try to report it, they'll make something. So they'll start making stuff up and make it look like that that's the real story instead of what's really happening there.
I agree. We've got a caller with a quick question. It's got to be quick. I've only got a minute left. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
I was wondering who's paying for all these lawyers that the special investigator is hiring, and just how long do they figure this is going to take?
It's really good questions.
What I want to know is where the bottom line is on the money. And Democrat or the Republicans, I think they ought to get a hold of this, and they should
should announce it to everybody continually, the waste of money that is going in. I heard there's like 12 to 14 lawyers.
Absolutely. I appreciate your call, and I've got to hurry, but I'm going to have Rita respond. Rita, the American taxpayer is on the hook, but go ahead quickly.
Yeah, the bottom line is that we're paying for it, and the next bottom line is that it will continue through his whole presidency because we do not have enough Republican Congress or Senate people that are behind Trump that would say this needs to come to a halt. They're just saying, well, we hope something will happen so that we're exonerated for not being Trump supporters.
Yeah. Rita, I'm going to come right out and say this is the greatest country in the world. I am so proud to be an American. I'm so proud to have celebrated another Independence Day weekend, but I am going to say this. Republicans, I was hoping during the Independence Day break that you'd start finding your backbone, but it doesn't look like they did a very good search and seizure.
No, they didn't, and they're going to be on the bandwagon to do whatever they can to destroy Trump and his presidency, and they'll go to any extent they have to, even if it's putting the 25th Amendment into play and then finding out, oh, shoot, that didn't work either.
Rita, I always enjoy Thursdays. You put a smile on my face. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. Rita Ramsey, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All righty, take care. Oh, love that segment. Thank you very much. Yeah, we the taxpayers are on the hook. This time of day, when we get up so early in the morning and have a little bitty bagel, I am so hungry, I'm starving to death. Well, I know some great places to go, including the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Orange and lemonade freezes. Great for this hot weather weekend. And shrimp and fries, just $6.50. And chicken fried steak sandwiches, famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, it's always great at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh, my goodness. I love those new pork burritos with beans, pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Oh, good. And the Taco Bandito has bacon with jalapeno in it. Ooh, a little kick. You're going to love it. Oh, my goodness. You better stop in and see them today. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, we move on over now to Burgers Etc. 2 locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. They've got, what a treat for today. Root beer floats only 99 cents after 3 p.m. I'm coming. Oh, my goodness. And fresh strawberry shakes. Oh, my goodness. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinners only $5.99. You're going to love Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, let's move on over now and see the folks at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Food made the way you love it. And the famous patio is open for the summer. Music every Friday and Saturday night. You can dine, you can enjoy. Oh, my goodness, what a great atmosphere. And they got a new salad called the Chaos Salad, chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers, and all the goodies at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza. 514 6th Street on the square in Rupert. Oh, my goodness, they've got all the pizzas. They got a new pizza called the Dessert Pizza. It's Oreo cookie drizzle pizza. Oh, my goodness, does that sound good? Along with all the subs and the breadsticks and the soups and salads, all of this and so much more right on the square in Rupert. Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. I am. Coming up next hour, Cassia County School Days, Debbie Critchfield, Business Salute, Don Scarrow at Scarrow's Meats, and then at 10:32, we're going to talk about energy with Lauren Fix, the car coach, and a different twist today. She's going to be talking about green energy and how it is not cost-effective at all. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Right now, let's go to CBS News. Oh, my. Here we go, hour number 3 on Thursday, July the 6th. And I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Wheels, let's have a good word for the Silver State Stampede.
Nevada's oldest rodeo. The Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 13th, 14th, and 15th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of professional riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Thursday with the annual kickoff party featuring mutton busting, Old West bronc riding, tri-tip dinner for just $10, and an extra dose of the world-famous Ring of Fear. Head into Friday and Saturday for PRCA rodeo action with the award-winning Wild Child Rodeo Clown, and dance the night away with the Jeff Palmer Band. So gather your friends and get your tickets today for the 2017 Silver State Stampede, July 13th through the 15th. And don't forget to wear your pink for Tough Enough to Wear Pink Night on Saturday. Family entertainment at its best with the 2017 Silver State Stampede at the Elko County Fairgrounds. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the egg.
There you go. Wonderful, wonderful time in Elko, Nevada. Hey, you know what we did yesterday? We forgot a very important birthday. And I've got the notice right here in front of me. A dear friend to Deanne and I, and a dear friend to this program, and that's Fred Preston. Fred, if you are listening this morning, I hope you had a gangbuster birthday yesterday, and all kinds of birthday presents and cake and ice cream, the whole shooting match. Happy birthday to Fred Preston yesterday. Please tell him I said that, would you please? He's a dear friend, and hope he had a great day. Now, Saturday, this coming Saturday, will be a birthday for another friend of this program, listens every day, and he lives in Kimberly, and that's Gerald Severs. My dear, dear friend, Gerald Severs in Kimberly, happy birthday to you, coming up on this next Saturday. We are, in just a moment, going to get ready for the school days in Cassia County, and we want to say thank you to our 2 sponsors. First of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. My goodness, if you're looking for a special birthday present or baby gift, or you need furniture for the wee ones, or the clothes, everything, they've got it all. They've got it all right there at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Along with Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. The number to call, and remember this number to call and see how they can save you money on outpatient surgeries. 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. You know, for the best of surgeries with cataract surgery, colonoscopies, hand and knee surgery, please call them today, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Right now, a lady that has been so helpful and so instrumental in making sure that this segment stays on the air with great, interesting people, and we have the Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, Debbie Critchfield. Good morning, Debbie.
Lower the interest level of the program this morning.
Well, I'm so glad you're on the program this morning, and what are you doing midsummer? I mean, do you get a chance to sit back and just say, whew, time to take a break?
Not exactly, but that's good. We've got all sorts of projects happening with our construction, and of course, summer is a really important time for our teachers as they take training, and maintenance is a huge part of the summer work for schools with students and teachers and activities out of the buildings. That's when we get our paint crews in to get things repainted and fix some of those larger items that really need people to kind of be out of the facility.
Now, there really is not a lot of time, T-I-M-E, to get everything done from the last day of school to the school opening, especially when you've got teachers going in and out and you've got summer programs. I mean, how do they find time to get all this stuff done?
Well, a lot of our custodians start very early in the morning, and the day school lets out, they're hauling furniture out of classrooms. That's when we replace carpet. When they wax floors, they go in and really dive into some of the deep cleaning items. And just, as you know, over the course of the school year, the wear and tear, hundreds of footprints and fingerprints and just use of the building, just like any home. I mean, it's just on a larger scale. So, yes, we have our custodians start early, and they work through the summer. And, of course, our the grounds, we've got hundreds of thousands of acres or square feet of grass that we mow and try to keep all of that up.
Wow. Now, what about the facility updates that you had mentioned on your list? I mean, what about the upgrades? What about the construction? Where are you as compared to where you want to be?
We are looking good as far as opening the doors on the new elementary school in Burley, John V. Evans. There are going to be some unfinished items, but those are budget related, not due to time or lack of care or, completion. But we will be able to be into that new facility at the start of school. And our projects in Oakley will also be completed, and they will be fully functional for the students and families there. We're getting close. We're keeping our timeline in Raft River. Anyone that's driven out there lately will notice the stark difference between when they left school, the end of May, till now. The remodel is coming along nicely. And I can also add that for Declo, we're on schedule with the new elementary there. The mid-November is the completion on that, and so we're anticipating a move into that new portion of the school over Christmas break, which, like I say, fits the timelines that we've had. So we're feeling good about it.
Absolutely. Now, the mothers in the audience are not going to be pleased to hear this, because I'm sure are going to be pleased to hear this, because it's a sign that things are going to be going back to school. What about registration? That date's looming on the horizon, isn't it?
It is. It's about a month away. August 9th and 10th are the days that we have slated for that, and parents can check our school website, the individual school websites for times. They do vary a little bit depending on which school. There's a lot of things that families can do online now, which is a great efficiency, I guess. But yeah, it's sort of frightening a little bit to think that we're getting close again. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like we got to the 4th of July very quickly.
Let me ask you this, Debbie, and I haven't asked you this question before, but what about influxes of people and numbers into the school system that you weren't prepared for or were not aware of? I mean, does this cause a problem?
Well, problem, yes. I guess it's always something that we deal with, which is a good problem. I guess maybe that's a way to put that into context. We're happy to see the growth. Clearly, one of the reasons for building new facilities in Burley with the new elementary is because of the growth there. And last year, the last 3 years, we have been steadily climbing up with our enrollment, and we anticipate that to be the case here in the fall as we get new families, industry and businesses, and the economic development that's happening in the Magic Valley has not just been limited to the Burley area. We've also seen growth towards Oakley and out towards Declo.
Really? So things are looking good, and student numbers are up. And what about the teachers themselves? Let me ask you this. Is it harder every year in case somebody leaves the district and goes back to Wisconsin or Indiana or Texas or whatever, is it hard to find good quality teachers?
What's becoming more scarce to find isn't so much quality teachers as it is certificated teachers. And the reason for that, we have a bit of a teacher shortage. And I want to frame that a little bit differently. What we're finding around the state with our colleges and universities, we're graduating adequate numbers in our colleges of education of certificated teachers. What we're finding is that it's a distribution problem. And so I learned this statistic just a couple weeks ago that BSU graduated 190 students in the College of Education. 90% of those 190 went directly to the classroom. And then of those that went directly to the classroom, 90% of those stayed in the Treasure Valley. And so what we're finding is a distribution in our more rural areas, which 70% of Idaho is rural. And you take even Acacia County, for example, and if they're struggling to find the properly trained, qualified teachers in Burley, you times that by 10 as you move further away and get into the Malta and Oakley areas. And so one of the things that parents may find and that schools are doing, the state of Idaho has a alternate route to certification that allows an individual that hasn't been formally a part of education, that maybe is recognized an interest and a desire, a 3-year window to work in a school district. They'll put you in the classroom. Of course, they want to match content knowledge with needs and so forth. And then the state allows that person to work towards their certificate for 3 years. And I think it's a good solution for now. One of the things that principals and school districts are eyeing statewide is to go out into the community and find those qualified folks that have an interest in being in the classroom and sharing the knowledge that they have. Let's get you the classroom management. Let's mentor you, and let's kind of grow our own. That's been a huge effort over the last couple of years.
Debbie, I was reading an article in Newsmax magazine the other day about a shortage of doctors by 2020. What about a shortage of educators, teachers? What's that trend nationally right now?
I think it mirrors that of doctors. And then I've heard that similar, and I can't pull off the top of my head the statistics for the medical field, but what I have been told, it's a similar scenario, that it's not only do we have limited numbers of folks that are becoming doctors, but getting them into the more rural and remote areas is becoming increasingly more of a challenge, to almost impossible.
So what, I guess this is kind of a naive question, what's the answer?
Well, I know that one of the answers, I'm not saying it's the answer, but Idaho will have a medical school for doctors. Here, I think their enrollment is the fall of 2018. It's currently being constructed, a facility in the Meridian area. And so the hope is to be able to get some of the students that would go out of state for their training, but if we can capture them and have them complete their medical training and schooling here in Idaho, that we'd be able to retain them.
Absolutely.
So I know that's one of the goals. I think that other solutions that they're looking at statewide is partnering with regional universities, trying to attract folks that way and doing things remotely. But it's interesting that those two industries or professions are very, very similar in their shortages and their needs.
Quickly, I want you to comment on the summer programs. People, I think sometimes many people have a misconception that when the doors close in the spring, they don't reopen until the fall, but there is so much activity going on within the school system for various summer programs and teacher increased education. Explain that quickly, if you would.
Our libraries are great partners. We have libraries in our communities that are open. We always encourage students and families to keep the reading up. There's a term, it's called the summer slide, that we end the school year. Students are doing well academically, and then over the summertime we kind of forget how important it is to still read. And I'm not talking about, quizzing your child and that type of thing, but just visiting our libraries. We do a lot of talking about basketball and sports camps over the summer. We have got science camps. CSI has offered some things, and folks can look on our website to see some of these things that are available. And as you mentioned, the summer is a great time for teachers to get their own professional development. They go and attend classes and workshops to help beef up their own instructional practices and help them be prepared when they start school that the students are going to get the best quality teaching that they can.
Absolutely. And you were concerned that we wouldn't have enough to talk about. My goodness, we did well.
Good.
Okay. Hey, I want to say thank you to you for all that you've done for this program. Cassia County Schools Communications Officer Debbie Critchfield, God bless you. Have a great summer, and I'll look forward to having you back on the air.
Thank you. Stay cool today.
All right, thank you. And that's School Days in Cassia County, brought to you by two wonderful businesses, Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and, of course, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Number to call 677-8888. And that is School Days in Cassia County for today. I've been telling you that Oakley Pioneer Days is right around the corner. It's going to start on July 14th and 15th with the great big 9th annual Bump and Rub car race. Oh my goodness, this is wild. This is woolly. You don't want to miss it on 14th and 15th of July. Then, of course, on the 18th, the S&M Team Roping. That's going to be starting with sign up at 6:30, rope at 7. They've got gymkhana. They got an open rodeo co-sanctioned with the IMPRA on July 21st and 22nd. Fireworks, dancing, basketball tournaments, entertainment in the park, and, of course, on the 22nd, the great big famous Pioneer Day Parade in Oakley. Wow. Our Pioneer heritage, past, present, and future, it's all going to be up at Oakley, Idaho for Oakley Pioneer Days. Don't you miss it. Going to be a lot of fun for the whole family. Right now, let's go back to the phone line. And I tell you what, this guy has done a tremendous job of promoting a great business, Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow at 331 North Road, Jerome. Good morning, Don. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great.
You know, I kind of look forward to having you come by the program sometimes. We've invited you to come into the studio and be on the air with me. And, of course, it's kind of selfish. I was kind of hoping you'd bring some bratwurst with you.
I can barely hear you. What did you want me to bring with me?
I said the next time you get a chance to come on the program and do it from my studio, I'm going to be asking you to bring some of your delicious bratwurst with you. It is delicious.
Some bratwurst. We absolutely can do that. Have you had a chance to try our new bacon out?
You know, I was going to talk to you about that. And, Wheels, make sure you turn it up over there so Don can hear me. The buckboard bacon, it's a little bit leaner and more economical than traditional bacon. Tell us a little bit about the process and the different flavors that are available.
Okay. Yeah, what we're doing, Zeb, is we're taking pork shoulder instead of the pork bellies, and we're splitting those down the middle, boning them out, and you end up with two slabs that look really close to a belly, only they're leaner. So then we're treating those just like bacon, only we're doing some really fun different flavors. We've got a new one we're working on right now. We're using Italian salad dressing to do an Italian smoked bacon. We just finished one up a couple months ago. I thought everybody loves ranch salad dressing, so we did our ranch bacon, and it absolutely turned out fabulous. We can barely keep it on the shelves. It's absolutely crazy. I leave a pound of it or so in my refrigerator, and I'll come home in the afternoon with the boys, and they're actually up cooking bacon for snacks rather than eating candies and goodies and stuff like that. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. They just absolutely love it, and the customers are going crazy over it.
Well,
so we've got, that's our number one mover. We've got a candied one and a peppered one, and then just a regular smokehouse bacon that's really, really good also.
Well, Don, let me ask you this. When it comes to your retail meats over at your location at 331 North Road in Jerome, tell us a little bit about your location. Tell us a little bit about the retail meats available for sales to the public. Go ahead and explain that a little bit.
Okay. Yep. The retail shop, I went in about a year ago and put all new cases in. We put everything in frozen, except we had a little bit of fresh stuff, but most of it's frozen to keep it good and fresh because our location isn't the ideal spot. We're 3.25 miles straight north of the city of Jerome there. So we keep everything frozen. If you want it fresh, call us up, 324-7657, and we can have everything fresh for you. But we've got a full line of bratwurst, smoked and fresh, skinless and with natural casings. They've got our famous tri-tip, always hundreds of pounds of that on hand all the time. We got New York steaks, ribeye steaks, T-bone steaks, tenderloins, bacon-wrapped tenderloins, a full line of marinated chicken breasts, absolutely fabulous. People love it. They buy our chicken breasts and they keep coming back for more and more and more. Can't hardly keep my orders in fast enough to keep the stock filled with boneless, skinless, marinated chicken breasts. We inject them with seasoning, so when you throw them on the grill, pull them off. A lot of times the boneless, skinless breast will be a little bit dry, but ours stays super juicy and tender, and people say this is the best chicken breast they've ever had.
You know, I can imagine, Don, that right now during the summer for all the picnics and the weddings and the outdoor events, you folks are really probably very busy trying to supply meat for all the different venues, correct?
You know, Zeb, we used to try to find things to do. I was always racking my brains trying to keep my guys busy, and now, yeah, I'm trying to find a way to get more help all the time to give the guys a day off because they're working so darn many hours. We're slammed. We're extremely busy.
Well, that's a good thing, but now what are the hours that people can stop over and check out the retail meats? Give us the information about that.
Yeah, so there again, I've got to do a little bit of work on that. I'm trying to get the employees where they can enjoy the afternoon. So right now we're Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but we are going to stretch those hours out starting the 1st of July. Now we can go from 8 to 6 so that people can have time to get off work and get over there and get something for dinner. So it's starting 1st of July, we're 8 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Well, I'll tell you what, this man and his business, it's just delicious because they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Don Scarrow and the crew at Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don, have a great summer. Stay busy. Enjoy the meat business. And by golly, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it, Zeb. One little hint out there. We are coming this fall. Will be a new location with full-blown fresh meats in Twin Falls. We are coming to Twin. We're looking forward to telling everybody about it. Don, thank you for all of your business with us. We appreciate it. God bless you, man. Thanks. Hey, you too. God bless you too, Zeb. I appreciate you very much. Keep on rolling. All right, sir. Thank you very much. A great guy with delicious meats, Don Scarrow at Scarrow's Meats in Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Wonderful, wonderful people. In just a moment, we're going to get ready to send this back over to our main studio for a break at the bottom of the hour. And then coming up next hour, normally when I have this lady on the program, we talk about cars and we talk about pickups and everything. Lauren Fix, the car coach. Today we're going to talk about clean energy and how costly it is to you and me and all the taxpayers in the United States. We're going to have Lauren Fix on the program in just a few minutes. Right now, let's send it back over to our main studios. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Welcome back to our last half hour, and I'm very, very honored to have this lady back on our program again. She's been here about 2 or 3 times in the past, and her name is Lauren Fix, and she's known as the car coach. But today, we're going to have a little bit of a different twist to having her on the program. We're going to be talking about so-called clean energy that, honestly, folks, I've been telling you on this program for a long, long time, not so clean and not so energy efficient or cost effective. And Lauren Fix, good morning. How are you?
I am great. How are you? Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on right now. Today is a very busy energy and automotive day. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but there's just so much good stuff out there, you might as well share it with your listeners.
Okay, now I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Lauren, so hold that phone if you can really, really still. I think it's a cell phone, so we'll try to get it on as quick as loud as we can. Clean energy.
I'll do my best for you. I'm actually way north of Canada.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, we'll see how it comes through. I have said for a long time on my program that I think the American public has been duped into thinking that clean energy, whether it's wind, whether it's solar, whatever it might be, it is not cost effective. It never will be cost effective, and it's taking money out of our pocket and wasting it. What are your thoughts to what I just said?
I agree with you, and I'll tell you some things that people aren't looking. It's a very short-sighted perspective from people that are thinking solar, wind, and battery-powered cars are the answer. They're all thinking, we'll get all the sun and this wind, we'll use that power to power all these plug-in vehicles, and then the environment will be completely green, and we'll never have to worry about fossil fuels. Well, let me tell you a few things. First off, there are fossil fuels in every single thing you own. The bottle of water you drink out is petroleum-based. All plastics are based out of that. You can't remove all plastics from our life. They're in cars. Even recycled bottles are in vehicles that you're sitting in, cushions. So even airbags are made of recycled plastics. So a lot of things are recyclable. However, some things are not. And the first one that I'd like to cover for you is solar panels. So people are going to put them on my house. Well, first off, the one hidden place to that is you need a new roof in order to support the weight of these glass panels. That's one thing a lot of people aren't aware of. In addition, in those panels, and they do get damaged from a tree, from wind, they no longer work, whatever it might be. And in that case, what do you do with those panels? Well, they end up in the trash. And all over the world, they're having a problem with discarded solar panels, which contain dangerous elements such as lead, chromium, and cadmium. And they're piling up, and they're actually causing a bigger damage to the environment than anything that could come out of a tailpipe.
You know, when you say these things coming from you, I hope people are listening and understand that you make your living studying this, knowing this, and talking to people about this. But, you know, when you look at, like, the wind power right here in our own area of southern Idaho, they will never be cost effective, and they're always going to be a cancer on the landscape. Why aren't people understanding this and really understanding that this has been a ruse put forth by the Democratic Party?
Well, it's a ruse put up by a lot of politicians because there's money in it. So when you're looking at these wind farms and you're driving down the highway, they don't look that big. But anyone that's decided to put these things on their property, first off, there's a hum involved in it. These blades are gigantic. And when those motors fail, which they've been having a lot of failures, they're extremely expensive to replace. So you might get a subsidy to make a wind farm, and you might think it's the greatest thing. But right now, combined total, all wind and solar that we've been able to obtain, things that you put it on your business, whatever's left over you don't use, you sell back to the community, is not lowering the price to the average person who truly can't afford to turn on the lights to heat their home or even think of potentially owning an air conditioner. That would be, like, totally out of the question. Those people are taking the biggest hit because why that electricity goes back to whoever their provider is, they're not passing that discount along to the consumer. And so that's number one. Number two, to put solar panels in your home or to put in a wind farm, you're getting tons of government subsidies. And where is all that money coming from and going to? That's all politicians. You can pick either side of the aisle. There's a lot of them. I'm not picking sides on this. That's your job, not mine. All I'm saying is there's a lot of subsidies, and even someone like Elon Musk is taking $5 billion. I would rather see that $5 billion going to maybe giving kids computers, having internet available to people who can't afford it. Let's try to educate our kids so that they can actually have a future instead of trying to, put on solar panels that put in the ground, batteries that are in cars that are, when they're depleted, have no place to go. And then, of course, we've got this wind that's caused the wind farming, which is not very efficient, and you're never going to get your money back. So what are we doing with this money? Why is it not going to places it should be, like roads and schools? That would be a smart move.
Let me ask you a little bit about the subsidies and about the information given to the American public. Why, in your opinion, did the media jump on the green and clean energy bandwagon without really studying the cost and the cost inefficiencies of subsidies and the cost to the American taxpayer returning no money basically in their pockets? How come we've been duped and lied to by the media, and why hasn't somebody shown this as a complete farce?
Well, I believe the last administration, they were so in love with anything he said that if he said, let's power these vehicles by donut oil, they would have been happy to do that. So you've got to understand that this is all politics. When they start putting in what they call pork, we've all heard this waste, how slow ketchup comes out of a bottle. Well, this is one of the biggest scams ever. All these carbon credits and all this money that's changing hands with politicians, they're the ones getting in office because they need money in order to get reelected. So what they need to do is put in this particular policy that allows this subsidy to go through that helps someone's personal agenda. So if you look really deep into this, and politics is not my expertise, just the automotive and energy side, and I will tell you, the more you look into it, the more frustrated you will be, because I get frustrated reading this stuff every day. Just 5 minutes ago, France announced that by 2040, we're going to have no more. They said we're not going to have any more gasoline or electric-powered vehicles. And I'm sorry, they're only going to have electric-powered. I kind of chuckled to myself. I'm thinking, okay, Sparky, I'll play your game. Let's just do some math. Let's just say doing all electric vehicles. We'll just go on average using the United States. So on that premise, we'll say that in the United States, we're selling like 17 million vehicles, but let's just say we're all going to go battery-powered. This is what the government wants. We're going to buy 20 million cars. How many vehicles do we have in the United States right now? 300 million is the answer. So if we sold nothing but electric vehicles and sold them at an astonishing crazy number more than we're selling vehicles now because of subsidies, right? How long would it take to turn over the fleet? 15 years. It's absolutely, people don't buy new cars like that. We buy new cars when we need cars. If we don't buy new cars, we typically buy certified pre-owned and then pass them down to someone else. So when you're looking at these kind of crazy numbers, it sounds good on the surface that, this is a smart thing, but they don't look at the grid that can't support all the electric plug-ins. The batteries are going to be a waste for them at the end, and they think you can get rid of those fossil fuels. It's completely and totally a farce. It's impossible.
Well, let me ask you a little bit more with your knowledge on the electrical grid and energy grid that's necessary. I have said on my program a long time before you got on the show with me that it's absolutely not feasible to think about a society with all electric vehicles when we're seeing the dissipation of the use of coal. We're seeing energy grids that can't handle the increased amount of power that's necessary for homes and businesses, and now they want to stick 300 million vehicles on the energy grid? This is nuts.
Never going to happen. Never going to see it. Could you imagine the grid right now? If you've ever been in a city, and I've been in New York in August when they have a brownout, that means it is the middle of the day, on a weekday. People are working. They got computers and everything going, and subway systems and everything, and they want to do everything on electric? They're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. A brownout, especially in L.A. or New York, is a disaster because people start freaking out. Equipment doesn't work. It damages equipment. I'm not about to be tethered to a cord. I already am with this phone, my tablet, my laptop. The last thing I want to be is take away my freedom of being able to drive wherever I want, whenever I want, for as long as I want.
But is it a trend, even though we don't want it, and I'll fight it, but is it a trend that through the enviros and the green energy proponents like Tom Steyer, is it something that looks like it's going to be inevitable and forced upon us by the liberal left?
Well, that's only if we let it be forced upon us. I think the silent majority has spoken many times. People in general will listen to it for a while, and when they really get infuriated, when you start putting your hand in their pocket, taking their tax dollars that they need for roads or for police departments, fire departments, schools, and everything, and take it to put a charging station in the middle of downtown L.A., in the worst section of town, where those people absolutely cannot afford plug-in vehicles, that's what they're doing in California. They're setting the pace. We're going to put it in a poor section to induce people to buying battery-powered vehicles. They don't buy new vehicles. If you're in poverty, you're not going to go out and buy a new vehicle. You're lucky even to have a vehicle. They're not paying attention.
We have a caller with a question for you, so stand by. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Thank you. Yeah, what needs to happen is produce how much carbon footprint one wind tower requires before it can be put up and start generating electricity, and how much carbon footprint is for the solar panels before they start producing, and electric cars also. That's my comment.
And he brings up a really good point, Lauren, that I'd like you to discuss about the toxic waste that these different so-called clean energy proposals really cause the American public.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that when you look at 300 times more toxic than nuclear waste. When you take those solar panels and you throw them in the ground, what are you going to do with them? You stack them up somewhere. 300 times more toxic waste per unit of energy than nuclear power. Because those discarded solar panels have lead, chromium, and cadmium. And it's actually poisoning the environment today as we speak. When are they going to wake up? When it's too late? When people are dying because the water's poisoned? We've already seen that in Michigan. We've already seen that in a river in Colorado. There's going to be more of it.
Let me ask you this. What would you tell my audience, or what do you tell people when you go around speaking at various parts of the country, to wake them up and make them aware? What should they do? I mean, when you get a hold of your congressmen and your senators, they turn a deaf ear and a blind eye, and they really don't understand what's going on.
They don't. And the thing is, to get someone's ear to actually talk to them, the first thing you need to do is you have to be calm. You have to state facts. They don't want to hear enthusiastic conversation because they work in this old school way. And I've talked to a couple of our New York State people, and if you get any sort of enthusiasm in your voice, they think you're crazy. They want to talk about, how do I turn this into a talking point to get me reelected? That's what they look at. So if you can pitch the story or spin the story, as they say, in a way that your local congressman is willing to listen, and they can gain more voters for themselves, that would be how you have to present it to them.
Since Donald Trump took office, Lauren, are you on a more positive note that things can and might get better, or are you of the volition that it doesn't matter who's president, things are on a downhill slide if we, the public, don't get more involved?
Well, I think we, the public, do have to get involved. And for the longest time, we just heard things going, yeah, we went about our business, we have jobs, we have families, we have lives. But I think now a lot more people are aware of what's going on since the last election and the ones prior. I think it's becoming more amplified to us that if we don't say anything, then we have to deal with it, and we don't want to deal with it. I have a little bit more hope with the current administration for a couple reasons. One, they just opened the first coal mine they haven't opened in a long time because of government regulations and restrictions. So that's a start. They are looking into nuclear. We know that Scott Pruitt is very positive on fossil fuels and alternate energies, and he is looking. We don't know what he's doing because he hasn't shared any of it with us yet, but we're hoping that he'll take away all these carbon credits. And the moment that happens, everything changes. So that's the one thing I'm really hoping, if I could see one change, get rid of those carbon credits, all those incentives and subsidies, and you know what? It's all gone. No one's going to buy these electric cars except for a few stray people that can get a deal on one.
Absolutely. I want you to comment quickly about your thoughts, and you would know more than anyone about this. Trump administration is considering an increase. They didn't say how much. They haven't given us notice as to how many dollars it's going to take out of our pockets. As far as a increase in the federal fuel tax, what are your thoughts right now about that happening, and what would be the effect on the American public?
Well, it's funny you say that because I spoke with Representative Chris Collins face-to-face, and he told me that that is one of the things that President Trump wants to do, and he's in huge support of it. And, of course, my first thing says poor people are going to be impacted the most. How does this help you get reelected? How does this help the world? He said that money would be earmarked only in the federal tax, which is, I think she said 4% would go up 1%, would be enough to repair roads and bridges. Now, if it really went to roads and bridges and it didn't go to some general fund or some electric vehicle infrastructure, I would be okay with that. But we don't know that that's going to happen, and I don't know if he even knows that. So last I spoke with him, because I do see him quite often, he does tell me, what's going on, and it's kind of nice to get some real feedback. But I think that may be one of the solutions to help repair some of the infrastructure issues which we have across the United States.
I totally agree with that, but then the big two-letter word, if. If they leave it alone for what it's designated for, that would be fine. But if they do like they have with Social Security, it's going to turn into a train wreck. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. If they keep trying to take the money and, rob Peter to pay Paul from one budget to the next, that's not the way to do it. We need to get rid of the wasteful spending, get rid of the subsidies and the carbon credits, and you're going to watch a country that can balance its budget, which then we can put the proper money for roads and bridges and put money where it belongs. So they're putting it in people's pockets like Elon Musk and Tom Steyer, who use it for their own personal agendas. And there's a lot more than just those two. There's a lot of people out there taking money, and it really upsets me. I'd rather see it go to people who really need it for real causes. But right now, it seems like they're getting shortchanged, and only the rich are getting richer.
This lady is the best, and I'm going to have her back many more times. The car coach, known as the lady that understands all about automobiles and energy, Lauren Fix. God bless you, and please come back soon. I've enjoyed having you on the program again. Thanks much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Lauren Fix, the car coach, and she knows all about energy, or the lack of. Right now it's time for the weather forecast, and brought to you, as it is every day on this program at this time, by Scarrows Meats. We talked to Don a little bit ago, and they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Yep. Delicious bacons and sausage and bratwurst and you name it. They've got a great retail store over there at 331 North Road, Jerome. We'll tell you more right after Gina has the weather.
We are getting one day closer to the weekend, and we are in a heat advisory according to the weather forecast, and we're going to remain in that until Friday evening. Today, as far as weather is concerned, sunny skies. We are still in that high-pressure system. Looking at a high of 97 for today. Tonight, mostly clear skies, low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 96 with an overnight low of 61. Sunny and 97 for Friday. Looking at 100 degrees for Saturday. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Woo! Everybody jump in the water on Saturday. My goodness. Hey, listen, the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. I told you the number 324-7657, and the truth is they've got all the delicious meats right there at Scarrows Meats. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Oh, I got time for a quick call. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to remind you, I had a call yesterday, and they said, what are you going to do for the July lunch bunch? Well, we went through the calendar, and we're going to have lunch bunch on July 20th. That is going to be Thursday, July 20th at Denny's Restaurant in Burley, America's Diner. Don't forget that. Put that on your calendar, Thursday, July 20th. I know I've had a lot of people calling and asking about that, so please, that'll be the July lunch bunch date. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle. I've got time right now. While I'm waiting for your call that I'm sure is coming in, don't forget our friends and your friends that really care about your safe driving. That's your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. You know what? They've got all the tires for all the driving needs, all the different driving conditions, all the vehicles, and you stop in and check them out today, like the Backcountry All-Terrain Tire, all-season tread, advanced noise reduction for your pickups and SUVs. They got it. waiting for you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And ask about a free pre-trip safety check. And it's a visual inspection of your tires, including the air pressure, wheel alignment and tire wear, front-end components, brake components, shocks and struts, battery, including a load test. They want to make sure that when you leave on that road trip, you can rest assured that you're going to drive safely. Absolutely. And stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, the best. With the best of service, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Woo! Let's see. Be careful out there. It's going to be very, very warm this weekend. And I just heard Gina say a moment ago that they're calling for perhaps a high on Saturday of maybe triple digits, 100, 101. Make sure you drink a lot of water. Don't do a lot of exertion out there in the sunshine, and take care of yourselves. And be careful. Warm, warm weather for at least the next couple of days right here in the Magic Valley. Now, this is going to wrap it. We've had a short week this week. Holy smokes. We had the day off on Monday. Sharon did it along with Wheels. And then yesterday and today, short work week. Man, times are tough, aren't they? And we're going to be back again next week. Got some outstanding people coming on the program next week, including Vicky with Vicky's Country Garden, Silver State Stampede with Alki Mariluch, and we're going to have some folks on with the Oakley Vigilantes with the Oakley Pioneer Days. So it's going to be a fun-filled Monday, for a matter of fact. And there's so many activities coming up. I mean, pretty soon, like we talked to Kyler at the Chamber of Commerce, soon we're going to be announcing about all the county fairs and everything. Holy smokes, where did summer go? I want to remind you again about the Idaho Rodeo Hall of Fame and their induction ceremony and banquet. Now, this is going to be July 28th and 29th at the Canyon Crest Event Center in Twin Falls. Now, Friday night, the 28th, they're going to have the Tough Enough to Wear Pink night, and a percentage of the proceeds from that night go to breast cancer awareness, and it's a $10 entry fee, and it starts at 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. Please try to be there that evening. We'd really appreciate seeing you. And we're going to have door prizes and all kinds of fun. Then on Saturday night, the 29th, Hall of Fame induction from 5 p.m. with a social hour, dinner at 6. Tickets are $25, and we're going to be honoring a lot of great rodeo legends in the state of Idaho. And we thank our sponsors, D.L. Evans Banks, and, of course, Tech Distributors, your Coors distributors. They have been so helpful to us, and we say thank you. But this is going to be a great big event on Friday night, the 28th, and on Saturday night, the 29th, Idaho Rodeo Hall of Fame at the Canyon Crest Event Center. We're going to get out of here. Wheels is going to put everything to bed for us this week, and we'll see you next Monday at 8:06 Zebeth Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you next Monday.